Hi everyone, I'm Aditi Bhatia. My topic is intersectionality, investigating intersectionality as a framework for ICTs research. In this paper, I analyze how intersectionality can be used as a communications research framework for a deeper understanding of the needs of ICT users to foster social changes. The term intersectionality was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw, who stresses the need to account for multiple grounds of identity when considering how the social world is constructed. Exploring these multiple grounds of identities also unfold existent inequalities that further helps in developing ways to resist and challenge these various forms of oppression. The intersectionality concept affirms that the way a particular disadvantage is experienced impacts the way another disadvantage could be experienced. Intersectionality has been majorly used in law and feminist studies to examine gender, class, and race. It was initially emerged in the context of black feminism, but as a concept, its subjectivity makes it applicable to any field of study. In intersectionality, origins, consultations, and horizons, Carathis highlights two major milestone years for intersectionality. In 1990s, that marks the introduction of the term, and early 2000s, that marks its widespread travel across various disciplinary and geopolitical borders, but also by inattention to its origin, social movement context, and political and theoretical implications. This is very significant in understanding the grandiose scope of intersectionality as a concept attained in 2000s onwards, with scholars adopting it for various contexts in various parts of the world, regardless of the context of its origin. This is when intersectionality jumped borders to be used worldwide. In the article Intersectionality, a Buzzword, Davis states that intersectionality, by virtue of its vagueness and inherent open-endedness, initiates a process of discovery which not only is potentially interminable but promises to yield new and more comprehensive and reflexively critical insights. Open-endedness and vagueness are central to understanding the applicability of intersectionality as an inquiry-based research theory in any non-specific context that is open to embrace new paradigms. Furthermore, in theoretical framework to political intervention, Smoot states that the situation and site under scrutiny determine the appropriate access of power for investigation, which highlights the vast nature of intersectionality that has the ability to mold itself to the circumstance. After its conception, various scholars have applied intersectionality across disciplines. These intersections are significant to explore as precursor in the process of social change. In the state of art, ICTs and digital media provide a platform for dispersal of intersectionality. The digital media use is proving to be a game changer for marginalized groups. In the book Intersectionality, Collins and Bilge state that intersectionality's digital vitality provides ample evidence of its significant appeal and utility to a new generation of people who face multiple marginalizations but who have access to and skills in ICTs. It is important to note that social media such as Facebook, Twitter has power to host web-based communities, allowing oppressed groups to have a voice and directly participate in activism. Moreover, in mass media and African American identities examining Black self-concept and intersectionality, Sanders and Banjo emphasize on the opportunity available for media scholars for utilizing intersectionality as an analytical research tool within the media communication discipline, asserting that media scholars can bring the examination of message production, message content, and their impact on the discussion of intersectionality. This is significant in understanding the opportunity for intersectionality to grow as ICTs and communication research framework for a deeper understanding of the user needs to foster social change. With intersectionality's expansion across disciplines and globe, scholars eventually realized that the efficacy of intersectionality as a framework has started to take a lead as a sociological framework. This paper identifies ICT as an area in communication research where applying intersectionality framework can make its adoption by users easier to comprehend for the ICT researchers. The broad research goal is to explore the following question: what significance intersectionality beholds as a theoretical and methodological framework to study ICT users? In the context of ICT use in rural India, scholars have identified high illiteracy and lack of digital literacy as gaps that restricts its effective utilization. According to these authors, challenges arise due to unavailable suitable infrastructure, poor education, a dearth of financial and social support. It would be interesting to explore how various categories of marginalization work in conjunction with one another and accumulate. As a case study, ICT users in rural areas of India, a developing country, will be the subjects under examination for various disadvantages and oppression experienced by these ICT adopters, which intersect with other disadvantages. Auditing everyday communication environment needs and challenges of the users would help explore the dynamics of multiple inequalities at play and their collective implications. These gaps are explored by understanding social and communication environment through an assessment of an interplay between poverty, low literacy, gender power dynamics, social class in conjunction with the use of ICTs. In her recent book, A Village Goes Mobile, Telephony, Mediation and Social Change in Rural India, author Sirpa Tenhuen presents a case about Janta village in India and how various axes of disadvantage could come into play for various categories in social hierarchy. Tenhuen claims that while a majority of upper-class village people leapfrogged landline phones but had access to the other media forms, one of the low strata sections of the village that were the last to even receive access to electricity had in fact leapfrogged a whole range of gadgets such as cameras, music, players, televisions, which most of the world had acquired one after another as separate gadgets over many decades. Lack of infrastructural access, poverty, low literacy are some of the axes of disadvantages that have refrained rural users from adopting ICTs. With the spur of affordable mobile phones, network services, infrastructure, smartphones are now becoming the commonplace for this stratum of the population. This is especially interesting in noticing how this particular section of populace also leapfrog the installation of these technologies and what kind of learning experiences and opportunities these smartphones withhold for them. Tenhuen also states that most of the villagers were now acquiring smartphones upon the arrival of affordable phones and network services, although their main purpose was still only receiving and making phone calls. Being at the intersections, many of the users were still not aware of the enormous opportunities and functionalities that their smartphone carried, such as browsing the internet. This sparks an engaging question for the readers. While the users have the smartphones available, what restricts them from utilizing the vital features of their smartphones? And how does the use of different mobile affordances differ according to people's social positions? To investigate these questions, Tenhuen explores the concept of intersectionalities to bring attention to how multiple axes of identity and modes of power relate to mobile phone use. For the population in Janta village, the identities and modes of power in question are gender, education, digital literacy levels, caste, class, and poverty. Also, these inequalities do not always just add up, but can also change one another. They are fluid and simultaneously evolve by the dynamics of power. This analysis enlightens readers of the speculative nature of the interplay between power and identities and uncertain ways they could operate in a cluster. With this, Tenement also analyzes how people in different social positions refashion their intersectional identities through the use of ICTs and mobile phones. For instance, some mobile phone or smartphone users do get opportunities to uplift their economic status by relevantly deploying it for their business needs or to seek labor work. Mobile phones have mainly given the wealthier and well-educated section of village significant life-altering choices by offering new business opportunities and useful information. It is also fascinating to note that villagers only take advantage of the affordances of their smartphones based on their level of exposure and understanding. The villagers were more intrigued with the memory chips in the smartphone to contain entertainment materials, which challenges the notion of users as rational individuals in search of useful information. Certain villagers heavily use their smartphones for entertainment purposes, such as listening to music, downloading images, watching videos, rather than our utopian idea of all villagers eagerly waiting for access to ICTs and smartphones and using their smartphones as an education tool or to enhance or uplift their health or social status. Tenhuan pinpoints that intersectional aspects of class and education largely determine how people use smartphones. Tenhuan also concludes with the final thought that people's social position constrain the way in which they can use smartphone, but their position also provide motivations to use digital media to maneuver within the intersectionalities of their identities. This evokes a thought-provoking insight for the readers. The significance of education and digital literacy as axes of power can be identified to overcome intersectional operation in case of ICT use in rural India, rather than a utopian concept of only access and availability of ICTs to bridge the digital divide. Tenhuan has adopted a theoretical framework for understanding the appropriation of mobile telephony and ICTs in the rural India, where people's media use is constrained due to intersectionalities of power, caste, class, gender, and education. It also sheds light on mobile telephony, enabling the refashioning of identities by exploring new opportunities that also contribute to social change. The appropriation of mobile telephony relates to local hierarchies and inequalities in the context of economic activities, gender relationships, kinship communication, and political activities. This research analyzed by Tenhuan provides readers with an exemplary framework within the context of ICTs, mobile phones, and smartphone use in rural India. Hence, the intersectionality framework for ICTs works to identify the gaps that prohibit the utilization of available ICTs to full potential for marginalized users, leading to communication asymmetry. The earlier studies treat each disadvantage or oppression as a standalone problem and lack the intersectional approach of evaluating the impact of multiple axes of operation at one given point. Thank you.